Hi, this is Lynn Matajan from Matajan's Herbals, and tonight we're going to make laundry soap. So the ingredient list that I gave you was a bar of soap and a half cup of baking soda and another half cup of baking soda. So what we're going to start with is the first half cup of baking soda. You need to put the first half cup of baking soda in a baking dish, a pie pan, a cookie sheet, it doesn't matter. Put it in your oven and cook it at 425 degrees for 20 minutes. So I am going to... Hello, Janelle. It actually looks like you're the only one here right now. So anyway, go ahead, Janelle, and get a baking dish and put your baking soda in the oven and at 425, and we're going to make it cook for 20 minutes. Yes. And while you're doing that, or as soon as you do that, and I'm going to actually go ahead and set a timer so I know when 20 minutes is up. I like that you're writing to me. It would be nicer if we had a means of connecting voice as well. Okay, so we've put your baking powder in the oven, and that makes it, when you cook the baking powder, or baking soda rather, what it does is it ends up making washing soda. So you end up needing both baking soda and washing soda for your soap. So while your baking soda is being cooked, you want to get your grater out and you want to grate your soap. When you grate it, I did some pre-work. So my baking soda is already washing soda. That's what it looks like. It's grainier than the baking soda. The baking soda looks a little bit fluffier. And when you've done grating your soap, it's going to look like this. If you can see, there it's in my hand. So while you're baking your baking soda and grating your soap, I want to talk about next week's class and some other class ideas as well. Next week, we're going to make vinegar. We're going to make Four Thieves vinegar, and we're going to make apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to give you your list of what you need for those things, and then when we're done with this, I'm going to go ahead and put it on this feed so that you can see what you need. So you're going to need for the Four Thieves vinegar, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of lavender, rosemary, mint, sage, thyme, oregano, ginger, and cinnamon. A half a teaspoon of black peppercorns and 4 cloves of garlic. Now you're also going to need 16 ounces of apple cider vinegar and a quart jar. Because this is a real quick Four Thieves vinegar to make, and what you're going to use this for is you're going to use it like a fire cider, where you take a teaspoon of it a day, and it will actually help keep the any viruses and colds and bacteria away. It is so it's a good thing to have in your medicine cabinet. The other thing that we're going to make is apple cider vinegar. Now, it takes apple cider vinegar 3 to 4 weeks in order to ferment. So I didn't want to wait to make the Four Thieves vinegar. Yes, and that will be apple cider vinegar with mother. So for that, you need 2 apples, you need a cup of sugar, and then you need a quart-sized jar, and then you need a little jar to sit on top of the apples to make sure that they don't float to the top. Now, if you do fermentation, then you may have something that looks like this. And this is a fermentation weight. The last time I made apple cider vinegar, it was an epic fail, and it molded and it wasn't good. And so I would use like a baby food jar, or something of that nature before you go and invest in fermentation weights, because while they're not terribly expensive, if you're not ever going to use them, it doesn't make sense to have them. If you make the apple cider vinegar and if you like the way that it turned out, then decide if you want to make the purchase of the fermentation weights or not. So this is my second attempt at apple cider vinegar, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Classes, so I guess questions that I have for you are 2 classes a week too much? Is that too big of a time commitment? Would it be better for 1, or do you want to go ahead and stick with the 2? Ideas that I've had, I'm thinking that we should make a soap. We should have a soap making class. But what I want to do before that is teach you how to make lye or potash from ash from your fireplace. It is that way if you want to make, I'm kind of looking at this as survival skills, and so if you don't have the ability to get lye from the hardware store, you can make it yourself. And it's a real easy thing to do, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to do a class on how to make lye, and then a soap making class. I thought it would be fun once the blackberries come out. Then we will make blackberry ink. So if you're a magic person, that would be something you could write your spells in, which I think would be a whole lot of fun. I also have thoughts of making condiments like mayonnaise and butter. And if you have any other ideas, make sure that you send those to me so we can get them on the list. Now, if you are cooking your baking soda, we still have about 15 minutes to go. You should be grating your soap right now as well. So you're busy. I'm just kind of sitting here in front of my stove. So I think I'm going to tell you a story. The person that in my life that made soap and laundry detergent and other kinds of things of that nature was my dad's aunt. She was Aunt Martha Crunk. She lived in Chadron, Nebraska, and I only saw her, maybe every other summer when we would drive out there. And she was quite the character. I kind of hope that my grandchildren think that I'm a character, because she was very pivotal in my life. She was a child of the Depression and of World War II. She actually was an adult, a young married woman at that time, and she made soap then. She made so much soap that when I went to her house in 1965, she was still using the soap that she made. And she had a bundle of it still left. My guess is that when she died, somebody in her family took soap home with them. And this is one of the ways that she used her borrowed soap, is she would make her laundry soap as well. And there's some other things that she would do that will be the last thing that I tell you when we start talking about the frugal tip. But she was quite the character. One of the things that she did one year when we went down to visit her was she had to replace her her water heater. And instead of having the people who replaced it take the old water heater, she asked them to put that water heater in her backyard. And because she knew we were coming, and she thought that it would be a great thing for us to play with. And I'll tell you what, that water heater, it became a log in a river that we would be lumberjacks and walk on it all the way around her yard. We got pretty good at that. It was a bunker that we could shoot cowboys and Indians with. We rode that thing like a horse. I'm like 10 at this time. And what fun we had with something that was totally inanimate and had no use as a toy. It was, if you look at the gifts that she gave me the gift of imagination. She gave me the gift of enjoying making things from scratch. She was a pretty amazing lady. I am, again, hoping that somebody sometime will be telling stories about this is the gift that I gave them. So, okay, I'm getting new glasses, and the good news is I should be able to see the messages that you send me real time instead of at the end of the video. So we should be 10 minutes out. It is yes, it is the glad game, like Pollyanna. I guess maybe that's who I am, huh? It's pretty amazing. So looking at the soap now that I've told you all about my great Aunt Martha and what a wonderful woman she was, I put on your list essential oils as being optional. You can or cannot use the essential oil. I'm going to put tea tree and I am going to put lavender in mine. They're both antiseptics, they're both antibacterials, and you don't put enough that it really smells like it. So you're not walking around smelling like tea tree, but it gives an additional boost. The other thing that you can add if you want is borax. I did not put that on your list because I figured probably nobody had it, and since we're supposed to be staying at home, I'm thinking that it was that was one of the things that was a little bit difficult for you to get. So what you're going to do is, as soon as you get your soap grated, you're going to put it in your stock pot. You're going to put your baking soda and your washing soda in your stock pot. And then you're going to put a half gallon, and here's my half gallon of water. And then you're going to heat it and stir it until your soap is melted. And that could take a while. I mean, not a long while, but you have to get it hot. So what did you do today? Did you have a good day today? The weather was gorgeous. I sat in my yard for a little bit, didn't accomplish anything because I was just sitting there enjoying the sunshine. And was thinking that one of the nice things about these classes is it's making me get things accomplished. I need the laundry soap, and I'd been putting it off, so this So this is kind of a good thing. Now I'm using an enamelware pan, and I'm using a wood spoon. You can use metal for this. It's not a problem. If you do that, you're not going to have the reaction that you would have had with the living organisms on the sourdough starter. So it is, so whatever you've got is going to work. Most stock pots are metal, and I don't think I've ever seen a big enough pot that would not be metal, you know, glassware or anything of that nature. So this is fine. The original recipe for this calls for 2 gallons of water, and I asked you to put out, and I asked you to put out 4 gallons. The reason, I'm going to respond to a comment here too. I don't know how to do YouTube. I will talk to my granddaughter who has her own YouTube channel, and we'll see if maybe that's something that we can do this as well. I know that not everybody has Facebook, and so there's some folks that would like to watch, but because they don't do Facebook, the live doesn't work for them. So we'll I'll take a look into that. Thank you very much for that suggestion. This soap becomes very gelatinous and very thick, and you'll see it tomorrow because it'll take a little while to set up. I add another 1.5 gallons of water to this because I don't like it quite that thick. And it is, what I keep the soap in is I have saved a bunch of old containers for laundry soap, and I just add it in there. And then what I have to do is I have to shake it and shake it and shake it before I use it. I mean, because this is going to be a year's worth of laundry detergent for me, because I'm just me. If you have a family, obviously you do more laundry than I do. It is, and so as I open up a new container of this, I shake it and shake it so that it doesn't come out so thick. Now the other thing that you can do is right down here, my water is already in a 5-gallon bucket. And so what I can do is just put the soap in the 5-gallon bucket, put the lid on it, and then when I'm ready to use it, take it out. And you're going to use a 1/4 cup of soap for each laundry. It is, and especially if you are using a front loader machine, you want to make sure that you don't overfill it, because it will be, you'll have too much soap. So I'm still cooking mine, and your washing soda should be coming out of your oven in about 3 or 4 minutes. So, do you have all of, is your soap all grated and you're ready to go? It's hard talking to a camera. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and scoot to the end of the program and tell you your frugal bit. So the other thing that my great Aunt Martha did was she had this. This is a soap cage. So you see it opens up, and you can put half of a bar of soap in there. And then what she would do is put this in a big bowl that she kept underneath her sink and fill with water. And so every time that she did her dishes, she would take the bowl of water with the soap that she'd been moving this in, And that's what she used as her dish soap. She would pour that in the sink, and then she would add additional hot water, wash her dishes, and that lady, from the time of the Great Depression, never bought laundry soap and never bought dish soap, because she made it from the soap that she had made during the Great Depression and World War II. So when I was out shopping 30 years ago, I found this, and in a junk store, and I got so excited that it was just the same as Aunt Martha's. And I will tell you that I haven't used it. I do have dish soap, and that's what I use. But if I ever need it, if I run out, I've got an alternate way to wash my dishes, and that's kind of a cool thing for me, because it reminds me greatly of Aunt Martha. Okay, now my water's heating up. My soap still isn't melted. Let me move the camera here and show you what my soap looks like. I'm going to hold on to the phone so that it doesn't make an unauthorized swim. Looks like at this point. Okay, I guess there we go again. So I think that this is more time consuming than difficult, and you do it once or twice a year, and boom, you're done. And so soaps that you can use, this is ivory soap. It has some of the least amount of additives. There is a soap called Fels Naphtha, Felsnaptha. Now I know you can get it at Winco, and I know you can get it at Walmart. Janelle, I don't think it didn't. It didn't take a swim. It is, you can also get already grated soap. The commercial is, I carry already grated soap at the store because pretty much I'm lazy. It is, okay, there's the bell, so your washing soda should come out of your oven now. So now you're going to put all of the ingredients, except for the essential oil. So the washing soda, the grated soap, and the baking soda all goes in the pot. Now I would probably put it on high because you probably have a pretty big pot, and so it's going to take it longer to heat. And I tell you what, a watched pot doesn't boil. So now when we do next week, it's going to be pretty quick because we're going to use dried herbs for the Four Thieves vinegar, and so it's just a case of assembling it. And it's the same thing with the apples. We're going to have to cut up the apples, but beyond that, it's just assembling it. So that class is going to be really short. It's probably going to be, maybe 15-20 minutes, if that long. So I am trying very hard to start class right at 7 o'clock. So in order to not miss it, you want to make sure that you're on, if that's what you want to do as well. It is good, healthy stuff for you next week. We'll probably be doing some crafty kind of things as well. Somebody asked if we could do a broom making class, and I don't think we can do a broom making class online like this, because to get the what you would need to make it would be too hard. So I think we're going to, we'll keep that one for an in-house class as soon as we get back to being in-house. See, if this smoke that was coming off the top here was green, you could think it was my cauldron. So the baking soda and the washing soda have all diluted and melted. The soap is still sitting here thinking about it. If you have a lid for your pan, and I don't have a lid for this one, but that would probably help make it heat up faster. So next Monday we're going to do the vinegar, and on Wednesday we're going to do condiments. So we'll do mayonnaise and butter. Now the butter is going to take a while, so I'm going to set it up, and then I'm going to tell you how to make it, because that takes a little bit of time, and it can be a fun thing to do. We make butter every Thanksgiving here at my house, and we pass it along. And for that, again, you'll need a mason jar and heavy whipping cream. It is, and we have a lot of fun with doing that. Once you make your butter, then you can make an herbal infused butter and have, if you want garlic butter, or if you want basil and rosemary, or sun-dried tomatoes and basil, any of those things, you can put them together and have quite the gourmet pack, which would be a lot of fun. Well, we are almost melted here. So when it's in about another minute and a half or so, this will be totally melted, and then I am going to add another 3 gallons of water and make it and then I'm going to stir it up so that it's all mixed well. At that point is when I will add the essential oils, because if you add essential oils to too hot of a water, it will take away some of the efficacy of the essential oils. So, okay, we are ready to go here. So that's a half gallon. And 1 gallon. Okay, so that should be 3 gallons. So what I'm going to do is leave it at the 3, and then in the morning, if I think it's too thick, I'll add the additional gallon of water. So, okay, we're going to go for another swim here. That's what it looks like. So now I'm going to put the essential oils in. take the top off first. So there's the tea tree, and here's the lavender. And now for this one, I'm actually going to get a metal spoon because I don't want the wood spoon to absorb. Now because I added colder water, some of the soap reformed on top here and made a skin. So I'm going to go ahead and heat it enough that it melts again, and then I'll let it sit until the morning, and then I'll put it in the other bottles. So you should be not far behind me. And I think that this is the class for tonight. So if you have any questions, then what's the question here? Where did I get that giant Pyrex measuring cup? Isn't that a giant one? It is 2 quarts. And to be honest with you, at this point, I've had it for so long, I have no idea where I got it. But it's still got the sign on it here, so that tells me that I got it new as opposed to used. And it is, and probably it was at some place like Target or Walmart. It is, but it's cool to make a lot of different things in. I mean, if I'm making a lot of pancakes, this is a good thing to make pancakes with. So, okay. If you have any questions, throw it on the screen here and I'll answer them. And I will put the recipe for the soap on there tonight. And I'll also put the list of things that you need for the next class. So thank you very much for joining me for this Wisdom from Gran. And I'll see you on Monday. Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.